a lot of things going on in the nation, but the biggest talked about piece.
Well, that assassination attempt.
Yep. So,
and the speculation surrounding it.
With that leads us into King's Adventure.
Yes, yesterday I commented on John Schneider, an American actor who is best known as Pa Kent in Smallville and Bo Duke on the Dukes of Hazzard. I love the guy's content. He's down-to-earth, wholesome dude. But he posted something yesterday, and I commented on it, and I got quite the retort. You want to read that original post off there?
So this one right here?
Yeah, that was flagged as false, by the way, so I'm not saying any of that is accurate, but this is what he posted.
So he wrote, "My name is Jonathan Williams. I'm an officer in a famous photo of the two snipers on the roof at Trump's rally. I came here to inform the public that I had the assassin in my sights for at least 3 minutes, but the head of the Secret Service refused to give the order to take out the perp. 100% the top brass prevented me from killing the assassin before he took the shots at the President Trump."
Now, mind you, that was flagged as false information, so I'm assuming that's not true. I don't know. You look at it, it looks very archaic the way it's laid out and whatnot. But John Schneider posted it, and his verbiage to follow was, it was food for thought, and I chimed in and gave my food for thought. So if you want to read what John put, and then I'll read what I said.
So John is saying, "How come nobody's talking about two shooters? Is anybody but me wondering how a bullet came from the far left of the president and then hit his right ear, while another bullet came from the far left of the president and hit Corey Compertor, the heroic firefighter who died protecting his beautiful family. The time is now for the truth. Funny thing about the truth is that it never makes itself known for if people don't ask tough questions. God bless Corey's family."
So I'm one that will sit there when a story happens, and I immediately look to see who benefits from the story happening. So I'm always looking for a false flag. And in this case right here, it's just far too soon for me to even say it is. So I don't see any indications of it being so. Does it have the recipes and the stature of possibly being one? Sure. However, what I said, and this was just pure speculation, I said if Trump doesn't acknowledge a second shooter, and there was one, this has the makings of a false flag, and Trump is in on the fix. Which I totally wouldn't be surprised at, because, by draining the swamp, he hired swamp monsters. While in office, bump stock bans was so pro-Second Amendment, and with this, it may get worse. Threatened to arrest Hillary Clinton, but arrested the whole country and shut it with the shutdown and made everyone non-essential. Of Operation Warp Speed was the greatest invention in human history, and those stimulus bills he signed off on were socialism at its finest. So everything I said, now the part that I said about, it has the makings of a false flag. If you think about it, look what it did. It generated a lot of buzz. Everybody's talking about it. It's very polarizing. It's just kind of like, you had that shit show debate, and now you have this. And this dude allegedly took a bullet to the ear like a G. So what John said to me in response to that, and I got a lot of people on here just coming at me. I will say right now that Republicans argue just as good as Democrats.
Oh yeah.
Their attacks, because if I am saying something against what they believe in, I'm automatically on the other team, which I am not.
Right.
Now,
you're attacking them personally.
Right. One person on there actually called me a Democrat atheist, and I was like, well, you're half right. But the Democrat part is not the right part. But what John said back to me, he said, that is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. So you're asking us all to believe that President Trump believes in someone's marksmanship so much that he will allow them to shoot off the top of his ear. You are delusional. Stop being part of the problem and start being part of the solution. Stop spreading wild nonsense like this on the internet. It's embarrassing you and your family. John got a little personal.
Stop spreading nonsense.
Stop spreading nonsense.
Back to here.
So, you posted something that was flagged as false, which Facebook has flagged a lot of false things that weren't false. Right. So, maybe it is true. But it said it was flagged as false. But there was also something in there that he said in the original post about truth. and you have to look for it. So all I said was I'm speculating. Again, I'm not saying that this is a false flag at all. I'm not saying that. I'm not. I could tell you 3 top false flags right now. 9/11, definitely false flag. That's my, all the facts are there.
I'll stand by that
The
too.
Vegas shooting, false flag. Kennedy assassination, false fucking flag there.
That's what I thought of when somebody said there was a person to the left.
Right. So I will call all those things that because the science and the logic is there for it. This is too soon. We don't know that it is. Does it have the potential to be one? Sure. All of them do. But if you read some of these comments that these people are saying to me, and how they just like immediately jump on his side, which this is proof positive that Trump derangement syndrome is on both sides of the aisle.
Oh, yeah.
There's people obsessed with hating him, and there's people obsessed with loving him. Again, I get the attraction to him. He does the all-American speech, pro-military, pro-this, that, and the other thing, with his lips. His policies were a step in the right direction during his presidency. But everything that I said on that post, which we can bring up, and what I said was, the first one was the draining of the swamp. Oh, we got shrunk.
I was just trying to bring this over to the side so they could see it.
Everything I said, and they got mad at and laughed at, this is verifiably true. This has nothing to do with my speculation of a false flag. So if you go to up on one of the tabs on there where I have, where it's like, Trump hiring swamp monsters, like Big Pharma.
Right here.
Right there. Trump hires Big Pharma rep. If you could read a couple of those things off there,
Yep.
verifiably true.
So, based on search results, President Trump has appointed individuals with ties to the pharmaceutical industry to key positions in his administration. Notable examples include Monsif Slaoui. So, that would be a former chief that was tapped as a therapeutics czar to oversee the development of distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. Alex Azar, a former pharmaceutical company executive. Azar was nominated and confirmed as the Secretary of Health and Human Services in 2017. And Grogan, I don't know who that is, but he thinks he's Cher because he has one name. A former gilded scientist lobbyist, Grogan served as a counselor to the HHS Secretary for Public Health and Science. That's who he is. His appointment raised concerns about conflict of interest and ethics violations.
So there's your draining the swamp. I called that out on there and got laughed at, got mocked, got shamed. And then I also called out the bump stock ban, which I also have open in a tab up there, which was just kind of smashed down after the Supreme Court.
So, the Trump bump stock ban. The Supreme Court has struck down the Trump administration ban on bump stocks, a device that enables semi-automatic rifles to fire at a rate similar to machine guns. The 6-3 ruling issued on June 14th, 2014, found that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or the ATF, exceeded its authority when issued the ban in 2018.
So, when I called that out, I wasn't blowing smoke. That's a real fucking thing. Also, what else did I mention up there? What other tabs do we have?
We've also got Trump's greatest achievement.
Greatest achievement. No, it was not just the most greatest achievement. It was the greatest invention since mankind. I mean, you could play the video in its entirety, how he becomes a vaccine salesman here. And,
It's fantastic. It's great.
It's the greatest invention. Like, if you hit play, it picks up right where the Candace on.
The word vaccine, don't get angry.
You did everything you could to get this vaccine out. I know
It
where
was
you
one
stand
of
with
the
the
greatest
vaccine.
achievements. We did it in less than 9 months.
To be able to do that.
Yes,
But now it's taken a twist, right?
And then people don't want it, and it probably even affects the others, because, there's a big situation with a lot of people don't want to take the vaccine. Well, this played right into their hands, and they want me to do public service messages and everything about everybody taking the vaccine. And look, I guess in a certain way, I'm the father of the vaccine, because I was the one that...
There it is.
To get it done in less than 9 months was a miracle. Fauci...
Shorter than a pregnancy.
3 to 5 years. He thought it was something that just wouldn't be that effective because it would take so long to get. I pushed the FDA like they have never been pushed before. I wouldn't exactly say they're in love with me. They have never. This is a very bureaucratic organization. I pushed them like they've never been pushed before, and that's why we have it.
the vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind.
Gymshark yoga pants are way better. Go to Planet Fitness. Verified.
Spanish flu
Actually,
killed
these are
perhaps
better.
100 million people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Can
You could cut the video. It's that. Yeah, my point's made on that one there.
Yeah, there was a lot of repeat material just cementing it.
Yeah, like that man ushered that through. And also I want to mention, like, when he locked the country down, he was the man in power when that happened. Everybody became non-essential. If you've forgotten that, I don't know what more I can do for you. Like, and also let's look at what can happen from this. A lot of, like, I feel that the left has been holding on to that pendulum and that momentum for the longest time. This illusion of choice here, and now that happened, that assassination attempt, it's going to break free, and then anybody who was on the other side, like that's going to have a nice cataclysmic momentum for everybody who was on the other side, because now you can look for red flag laws to get even tighter for stuff that you say on the internet.
Yeah,
and this man just allegedly got shot in the ear with an AR. And never have you ever seen a Democrat so happy to see somebody have an AR, by the way. Just saying. Yeah, so there's that.
yeah.
But no, like, look at gun laws, how that might change because of this.
Yeah.
Like, don't let one good tragedy go to waste. And people lost their lives at this thing. That's very, very unfortunate. But like I said, my interaction on John's post was just sheer speculation. Why isn't Trump right now saying that the Secret Service failed me? Because they fucking did, dude.
Yeah.
That rooftop wasn't assigned to anybody, or they saw him and ignored it. There's video footage of people going, hey, this dude's right here with a gun. Like, what are we doing? For 2-3 minutes? You're telling me that your guys did a good job? They did a good job.
The dude wasn't hidden. He just had camo pants on.
Right. And look at the videos of the one guys, like from the back of where the shooting happened, like the back of the stage or whatever, where the person comes over, talks to people, and moves these 2 people or 3 people out of the way and walks off where the shot's about to happen. Like, and then it happens. Like, so inside jobs can go both ways. They can go one way. I'm not saying that it is. But if you look at there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Why is he giving lip service saying that these people did a great job? And now there's
mind open
right.
to what this could really be, because if you really weigh in on this and think that I said this to King when we were just coming into this room. So the biggest thing is this man right there is a billionaire. He doesn't need this. And there's a million other reasons. If somebody gets shot at, and maybe he's just the bravest man of all time. However, he just got hit with a bullet, but then he's still standing there saying fight. And then he's still choosing to go on. So he's either the bravest man ever, or I don't know. That's to just keep pushing and then make comments about it while golfing.
That will be immortalized in American history for the rest of time. This man getting shot in the ear and then sticking up the fist and this, that, and the other thing. It definitely will. So, like, you could see how this moment changes the trajectory of that pendulum. The people have been holding on to it for so long, and now it's starting to crack, and it's about to
swing back.
If you identified as a toaster or a furry or whatever it is, like the illusion of choice, that is the other side that is owned by the same corporations, is going to come back and go, yeah, you don't have rights to this anymore because, you've got a mental illness. You've been identifying as this. You've been cosplaying a little too hard.
Yeah.
That is a real thing. And like, I'm not making light of these people that went and did these things. I'm saying, like, you got goaded into a position that you might not be able to walk the fuck back out of.
Yeah.
Because you're on a lot of government documents. You're on social media and you're saying these things. And they're going to go, wow, you can't own a firearm, dude. You think you're a fucking cat.
There's a lot you can do with that.
No, I'm just saying, man. Like, I really read politics and theatrics and shit you see in social media, literally like Jarvis in a Tony Stark suit.
Yeah.
And just like, I survey everything. I go, okay, if this happened here, what's the ripple effect here, 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 and here? And you can almost see things before they even fucking play out. Because you see the same tactics being used all the time, and it might not be the same situation, but you see the same fear-mongering. The media is there, and the media is there to do 3 things. Generate viewership, generate consent, generate revenue.